Do you ever get this look from anyone when you tell them you're doing a carnivore diet and you're only eating meat? Or hey, we're Shake and Bake, and I hope you're doing well. So a lot of people adopt a carnivore way of eating because, quite frankly, they've tried a lot of different ways of eating through the years, and none of them have been either sustainable or something that they feel good enough on, long enough on. So they eventually fall off the wagon with it and they go back to a really bad diet. Then they try something new, and maybe it's for weight loss. Maybe it's just because they want to feel better. And I'm sure you can relate. And whatever your reason is, you've adopted a carnivore diet. I think the vast majority of people turn to carnivore for weight loss. I was initially turned on for the weight loss aspects of a low carb diet, but the more I learned about an extremely low carb diet and carnivore diet, the more I realized I felt extremely good within days of adopting a zero carb diet. And I couldn't stop but think about how amazing I felt. And once you feel that contrast, and it normally happens within a few days, it might take up to a week for people because they're also kind of going through some side effects of switching over to a zero low carb diet, like say diarrhea, withdrawals from carbohydrates, and that addiction that goes along with that. But once you get past that, even while you're going through that, you can't help but notice how much better you feel. And when I was always trying to chase that feeling, it wasn't to lose weight. By the time I got introduced to carnivore, I was already familiar with zero carb eating for years. And I was trying to do it on and off, but I was dealing with a sugar and carbohydrate addiction. But by this point, I wasn't trying to chase carnivore for the weight loss. I knew that would be the side effect of doing a carnivore diet. I was chasing carnivore because it felt good when I ate that way. The problem was I was trying to battle a carbohydrate and sugar addiction. So the interesting thing about that was I was yo-yoing up and down, doing it for a few days or a few weeks at a time. And then I would eventually just go off of it. And next thing you knew, I would yo-yo back up in weight. So it was really difficult breaking up with carbohydrates. So some people do it for the health benefits. Some people do it for the weight loss, which is also a health benefit, but it's an indirect health benefit because as your body's healing, you start losing weight. It's as simple as that. Now, a lot of people will say, well, of course you're going to lose weight because you're restricting yourself to only this food group and you're not getting any carbohydrates or junk food. Well, no. What happens is as your body is healing, then you lose weight. So in the first week, here's an example. I mentioned this in some of my other videos through the years. When I started losing weight and I started doing zero carb, in the first few days, I lost 15 pounds because I was 465 pounds. So going to a zero carb diet right off the bat, in the first 3 or 4 days, I lost about 15 pounds. That's just water weight though. Everyone knows that. It's just water weight. But here was the dramatic difference. My joint inflammation felt like it was gone. I always thought it was because I was a big guy, and it wasn't me moving slow because I was a big guy. Turned out it was inflammation. And after that first few days of inflammation working its way through my body, and after the first 3 days, it went away and I woke up day 3 or 4 and I was just like, I can't believe how well I'm moving. Up and down stairs, no problem. Joint stiffness, virtually gone. And I started to realize, oh man, this isn't a big guy thing. It's an inflammation thing. I had arthritis without realizing it. And sure enough, it's not an issue anymore. And it just kept getting better and better and better the longer and more strict I was doing zero carb and carnivore dieting. And the best part about it is, as I've mentioned before, it has its own maintenance program built into it because you get more in tune with your hunger signals. You get to the point where you learn some days you just want to have a little more fat. Some days you just want to eat a little leaner. Some days you end up just having more salt, less salt, and you start learning what works better for your body. Some people turn to it because they like the simplicity of it. Yes, in some ways it makes your life more complicated because you have to kind of be prepared for certain days when you're traveling or you go to work and you forget your food and you're thinking, oh, now I can't eat anything and I don't want to eat out of the vending machine or out of the cafeteria. So you can be kind of stuck, but there's lots of options to handle that because you can still go to any McDonald's and just get burger patties and that'll get you by for a while. And it's fairly inexpensive. And that brings us to another point. It's a really inexpensive way of eating if you're doing strict carnivore. You can live off a pound and a half, maybe 2 pounds of meat, depending on how active you are. And that's a really affordable way to eat. Even with the crazy prices of food right now, not just meat, but food, you can eat for $10 a day, maybe $12 a day. If you know to buy your food on sale and have lots of food in the freezer and you prep your food, it's really easy. You can get by cooking your day-to-day meals, can be leftovers leftovers. And then when you come home for dinner, you can have something fresh. You can even start your day with bacon and eggs. It's a really affordable, easy way to eat. Some people, it's to increase their athletic performance. They're already feeling pretty good. They switch to keto and they're doing really good. And they're like, I want to try that carnivore thing, because I've heard a lot of people having a lot of success with that. And they switch over to it and they're like, okay, like, wow, I can't believe how great I feel. I feel even better. The one thing most people will say about a carnivore diet is it makes them feel younger. So anyone who's in their 40s and 50s or 60s and older will tell you this. They feel 15 to 20 years younger, some even more so. So first and foremost, I do it because I feel good. The side effect is losing weight. That's something I've said on and off through the whole time I've had my YouTube channel. I do it because it makes me feel good. So I'm down 150 pounds. I'm still losing more weight and it's going a little slower. I hit a plateau for a while and I'm moving through that. So all that's going really well. Along with feeling good, my energy's better, and that comes before any substantial weight loss happens. You feel good because your body's healing, and the weight loss actually takes a heck of a lot longer to happen than feeling good in the first literally 2 weeks of doing a carnivore diet. You feel so good and you haven't really had a chance to lose a lot of weight. Now, if you're younger, you'll probably bounce back a lot faster with your weight loss. But if you're doing this in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, it might be a little bit slower, but you're still going to move in that direction. But the one thing you're going to feel from almost day 3 or 4 is amazing. Once those carbohydrates have left your digestive tract, takes about 3 days, that inflammation goes away because that source of fuel is gone and you're becoming fat adapted. You just run better on fat than you do carbohydrates. So between feeling good and having a more affordable way of eating and the simplicity of a carnivore diet, those are lots of reasons why people do a carnivore diet. It ups their athletic performance and helps a lot of their health problems go into remission. So those are reasons why I do a carnivore diet. But first and foremost, it's because I feel good. If I was to ever try something off a carnivore diet, usually by the next day, you feel rough and you realize this is how I used to feel all the time. I don't want that anymore. And I have all sorts of people I know who would rather live with the pain and the discomfort they're in than just change their diets. Even if it has almost nothing to do with weight loss, they just don't want to change their diets. They'd rather live with that horrible pain and endure surgery, hip replacement or knee replacement or anything along those lines before they just change their diet. And I find that fascinating because that shows there's an addiction going on, a sugar and carbohydrate addiction. And they don't want to give up this lifestyle to lead a better quality lifestyle. And you know what? I'm no stranger to that either. I did that for years. I had a hard time breaking up with that, but the only way you're ever going to do it is by trying. And you're going to do it and you're going to stumble and you're going to fall. And then you're going to do it again and you're going to stumble and you fall. And you're going to keep doing this and you're going to go through that. And eventually, some people get it right off the bat, but eventually what happens is it sticks. At one point, it's going to stick and you're going to be strict and you're going to do extremely well. So if you can, please tell me the reason why you do a carnivore diet, because when people see your success and they see that it's worked so good for you, the people who are on the fence and they're thinking, I don't know, I might try this sometime, or maybe the people who are doing it and they just want to be more strict with a carnivore diet can learn from your success. Even if you talk about your failures doing a carnivore diet, not only will you get some tips, I'm sure in the comment section, other people will be able to relate to those failures. In fact, that sounds like a great topic for another video. Anyway, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you tuning into this video. If you can, please leave a comment. Talk about why you're doing a carnivore diet and what benefits you've had from it. Thanks a lot and take care.